As soon as I say live, it's like a reflexive. Lewis has got to start sniffling and snorting.
You said we're about to go live.
But then I press the live button, and then you start sniffing and snorting.
You know what people usually
you can't even control it.
People usually use something like that. We're about to go live as a sort of a signal. Hey, got any last minute throat clearing or anything like that you need to do? Go ahead and get that out of the way now because I'm about to go live. That's the
when I say I'm about to, I'm about
statement.
to press the button, and then as soon as I do, you're like.
Doesn't make any sense. I think you're.
You sound like a pig whose trough was just refilled.
Oh wow! I think you need to revamp your signaling system.
We need a new signal. This is not working. I blame myself. Let's see here. I think we're live. And we're live. And you know what else I got for you? Put this in your trough and snort on it, Lewis. It's a brand new shiny tweet. This is the one. No, I do.
This is the one we've been waiting for. Our key to success. Who knew a single tweet could do it?
Now look. I do have a subtle threat that I've included in this tweet, but it's only a joke, unless they don't listen. In which case, it may not be as funny as it was at first. And we got to also profusely apologize for everyone for showing up too late without actually
flunking out yesterday.
That tweet action. Send it right now. Okay.
Can't forget to warn people about next week as well.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, I'm going to write that down because I will forget. I already had forgotten. It was completely forgotten. And these are important. These are important things to discuss here on a program.
That's why I'm here. That's why they pay me the big money.
Oh yeah. On a program of this size, we need to be mentioning these kinds of programmatic. We got Jeff Drew in here. We probably won't have the usuals since we're doing it on a Friday. I kind of like doing this on a Friday, though. It's like a sleepy end of week, you know. In fact, we could call the show Last Week's Apple News Today. How do you like that?
I always liked it last week's Apple News tomorrow.
The news of tomorrow, now.
We can just call the show like Last Week Tonight. That name isn't taken, is it?
I don't think so. Last week's Apple News Tonight. And we'll just change the show. Actually, we don't even need to change the show because it is tonight for some people. Like those in the UK, it's already tonight. Boom. We got a new show slogan. That's a good one. This is why our show continues to proliferate because we come up with stuff like this on the fly. In fact, I'd say most things that we do are on the fly. Is there anything planned out ahead of time?
Excuse me.
Yeah. That's right. Buddy Rise has it right. 60% of the time, it's all the time. I just watched Anchorman 2. Did you guys see the first one, Anchorman 1? Did you see Anchorman 2?
I did, yeah.
What did you think of it?
I watched it when it first came out, and I think my sense of humor has changed since then, but I did enjoy it.
Okay. So
I actually watched Anchorman 2 first before Anchorman 1.
Oh, wow. Now that is interesting. Did you like Anchorman 1 more than 2?
I think I would give him the same star rating, but I think I did enjoy the first one more.
Okay. I saw the first one first. I liked the first one far more than I liked the second one. Like I don't know if it is that my sense of humor has changed. I don't think that's it. I think that they tried to recreate the magic and instead they ended up with a lot of just derivative jokes that had already been done, and I almost didn't laugh at all during the movie. I just sat there watching it like it was a documentary on some animal in the Amazon or something. There were a couple scenes that I thought were funny, but it was nowhere near as riotous as the first one. I just kind of felt like it fell flat. But then hearing people quote it now, like in the chat, now I actually think that some parts were funny. So I don't know. I have to go back and watch it. All right, look, no one's here to listen to us talk about Anchorman 2. It came out in 2013, I think. Literally a 10-year-old comedy based off a comedy that's 20 years old. Keith Long says, "Hey, dudes, I'm in the hospital. How about a shout-out for Shalom?"
I'm sorry, what?
Hopefully you're not in the hospital because of that. Dude, if you wind up in the hospital because of your schlong, you know
Oh dear. I don't know how to comment.
Shout out to Keith. Oh, it's because I think it's because his last name's long, and sometimes we call him. I don't know. Is this a meme that I'm missing out? Good luck, Keith. I hope you're doing okay, man. I really mean that, and I hope it's not. I hope you're not in the hospital for the reason that we just surmised. That would really ruin your day. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. We actually have a lot of people watching for a Friday, so maybe we should move this to Friday. But we got a lot of Apple news, so let's go ahead. Oh my. Do we have all the recordings going? Yeah, I think so. Jay Plemons. Lewis ain't having it. Yeah, I thought that was a lot funnier than you guys did, I have to admit. I don't know why. Oh, Mrs. D. Oh wait, that's not it. Oh, Mrs. D, how are you doing today? Oh my. I also saw some schlong last night. Oh.
Ooh.
I don't want to hear any more of that, Mrs. D. I really it was L. Katie's. Ugh. Gross. Isn't his called a schlort? I don't think that's the right word for it. Anyway, Mrs. D, if you don't mind, I ate breakfast several hours ago, and I prefer not to have it come back up. So if you don't mind, we'll get this show on the road. Oh, by the way, everyone in the chat, let me know if the audio is better. I cranked it big time before we started the show. I think I fixed the issue. The bars are bouncing, and they're looking real nice. And hopefully that you guys can all hear me better. Oh, man, we got Thepa1 here. First time live. Been listening for over 11 years. Before the Buster days. Buster was on the original episodes. There were no Before the Buster days, I don't think. It was always Buster. Me, Buster, LK. Audio's delicious. Chiggy. All right, thank you. Hopefully that fixed it. This is great. We have all sorts of new people. See, how crazy is it when we switch days? We have all these new people show up. This is
Friday is the day that everybody works from home.
Yeah, right. Including the Cult of Macro team. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. If you guys are ready to roll, I got the audio recording going. Let's make the magic happen. In 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Eric and Elijah. Join me today. He wears a necklace adorned with ears of Cult of Mac writers around his neck. The writers that didn't work out. He's the managing editor of Cult of Mac. Lewis Wallace is here. I took it off.
That's why they actually invented that, personalized spatial audio thing. You know, you can take the phone and look at your ear, and if you don't have the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also with us, he often wears a cloak covered with fake leaves and brush so he can quickly disappear in a field or wooded area. Editor Lewis Wallace comes looking for his ears. He's a writer. Call him back. Griffin Jones is here.
Good evening. Yeah, that's why I wear these big headphones over.
Now I can't hear you.
I don't want you to see anything.
Oh yeah, you just went really low. Did your audio just get low?
Speak up.
Hello?
That's better.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what happened. Sorry, you were making a witty quip about your ears being covered. Are there any ears under there? Did he already get them? Is that why you wear those headphones? Because there's just two little holes on the sides of your head?
Oh, jeez.
Well, I would not like to. I would plead the fifth.
Well, don't worry. I know a good plastic surgeon. We can get those reattached for you. It only takes 6 or 7 months to heal after the operation. All right, all. Well, my apologies first and foremost. We probably should have mentioned this at the end of last show. I was out of town yesterday with no way to do the show. And so we had to move it to Friday. And unfortunately, we completely forgot to mention that last week. So here we are on a Friday afternoon. If you're listening to this, you're clearly listening on a Friday. And so sorry about that. And also next week, there will be no video version of the show because I'm going to be out of town again. And unfortunately, I'm the only one that's able to operate the complicated video setup that we have going here. We might change that in the future.
It's a union gig.
And well, where's my union rate? That's what I want to know. So we're gonna get young Padawan Griffin Jones here trained up on the audio stuff. and he is going to edit the audio show next week. So there's going to be audio only, no video next week, but the audio is going to be beautiful. I'm fully confident that Griffin will be able to put together a really beautiful, balanced audio show next week where no volumes are
to YouTube anyways, just so that people who want to watch on YouTube can still watch it on YouTube, but there will be no live stream at least.
You're going to record the video and then release it? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. I'll see what I can do. I'm not going to promise anything. But
if you can pull that off, I would be truly impressed. Yeah, I feel like we need to switch to a platform that's a little easier to operate than what we're doing. I mean, believe it or not, like the setup we have going here, it took a lot of effort to get figured out. Remember all that testing that we did, Lewis? Like we were testing this thing for probably 2 months.
It was horrifying.
Dialing everything in.
On and on it went.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember it being that bad, but yeah.
I do. Oh, my God. And I didn't even do any of the work.
No.
All I had to do was just show up and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. All you did was literally sit there for like 10 minutes at a time. I did most of the work. But in any case, so audio show only next week, and then we'll be back to the regularly scheduled program in the following weeks once all my summer vacations are over. Let's see here. Before we dive in, I want to give where are my notes actually? I want to give a quick thank you to our sponsor this episode. There we go. Who I couldn't do until I brought up my notes here. I want to give a thank you to Notion for supporting this episode. There are so many AI tools out there that you can play around with. A lot of them are fun. But when it comes to something that you can actually plug into your workflow and actually use, Notion AI is the easiest and most practical tool that I've used. You can use it for creating writing pieces of all kinds. In fact, if you're a writer, you definitely need to check out Notion. If you're writing blog posts or anything, any kind of creative writing, the writing tools, the AI writing tools that they have built in are kind of bonkers. They're unlike anything that I've seen. In fact, I was thinking about this before the show. It's kind of similar to what Apple did with the Windows functionality they brought into existence from DOS, like being able to drag and drop and use functionality that previously you would have had to build a prompt for in many other AI tools. With Notion, you can have it create a written piece for you from scratch. You just give it a prompt and it will literally create that writing right there in front of you. And then you can ask it to make that piece longer or shorter, or you can start off with something that you write and then have Notion make it longer, shorter. You can have it change the writing style. So if you want it to sound more confident or more professional or more friendly, you can have it do all that with just a few simple clicks. It's the easiest machine learning AI tool that I've used in that regard. It can write a blog post for you. It can make an outline. It can brainstorm ideas or summarize a whole bunch of documents for you. With Notion, you can easily access AI across all your notes, all your documents, all without the need to jump between your work and a separate AI-powered tool, which is what truly makes it special. That and the UI is really beautiful and easy to use. You can try Notion AI for free when you go to notion.com/cultcast. In fact, let me just bring this up. Notion.com/cultcast. There we go. Notion.com/cultcast to try out the incredible power of Notion AI today. And when you use our link, you're supporting our show. And you can also try Notion AI for free at notion.com/cultcast. I'm doing pretty much all my writing and project management in Notion right now because you can do all that stuff inside of Notion. And you can create task lists. You can create boards, which help you track your progress. I mean, it is super powerful and beautiful AI, easy to use. So if you're doing any kind of writing or organizational work, definitely check it out, notion.com/cultcast. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into story one. Now, we switched this around so many times, I don't remember who's doing what. Oh, good, it's me. By the way, I asked Lewis to keep it down, but he's like, oh, I'm sick. And I was like, look, Lewis, no one wants to hear you hack. And he's like, I have a temperature of 104. And I'm like, erroneous. That's erroneous. Just try to use the mute button or something.
I can see it.
Does it work? It wasn't working earlier.
I keep forgetting to try.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
It's working.
How'd that work?
It worked really well. And I can tell from the veins popping out of your forehead that you were coughing quite hard.
Oh yeah, it's full sweet leaf. Thank God.
Okay, yeah, that worked. Okay, great. All right, well, we have some iPhone 15 new features, new leaked features to talk about. This is one that I thought was particularly interesting. New evidence points to high-speed Thunderbolt connector in the iPhone 15. We all know that they're going to be making the switch to USB-C, but it looks like that USB-C port could also offer some Thunderbolt functionality. So check this out. The Lightning port has been part of every iPhone since 2012. Man, it's been that long. I just did some traveling, and I hated having to carry around my Lightning cable in addition to my USB-C cable, and how all of them have like different connectors. Some of them connect via USB-C to the charger. Some of them use USB-A still. What a mess. Well, numerous leaks indicate that the iPhone 15 will have USB-C, as we've been reporting on forever, and that USB-C port might support Thunderbolt with the super fast data transfer speeds already present in the Mac and iPad Pro. Let's see here. Leaked images supposedly showing the USB-C internal components for several iPhone 15 models have a Retimer chip. Did I say that right? A Retimer chip?
When I saw that word, I wondered if it was a typo.
I wondered the exact same thing, but then I was like, I know that there could not possibly be a typo on cultamac.com.
Does it mean retimer?
A retimer chip? How about an old timer chip? Maybe that's it. I'm not sure. We'll have to talk about this after the show. This suggests that multiple models with the iPhone 15 will support Thunderbolt USB 4's high-speed 40 gigabits per second data transmission, according to Charger Lab. The chip, the Retimer chip, allegedly appears in images of components for the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. Now that's interesting, not just the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Previous rumors indicated that only the Pro models would get the Thunderbolt support. And actually, I missed that part when I was reading this earlier. I didn't realize that it was potentially going to be all the iPhone 15 models. So the iPhone Lightning port has a maximum data transfer speed of 480 megabits per second. Ancient technology. Ancient. This is like 1995 transfer speeds. If the iPhone 15 has a USB-C port that supports Thunderbolt, it will have, well, we already mentioned this, a max transfer speed of 40 gigabits per second, which is 80 times faster. I think this information is actually more useful. The current iPhone 14 Pro models can record live video at 4K at 60 frames per second. At that rate, an hour of video takes up approximately 25 gigabytes. Just imagine how long it would take for you to transfer that to a computer or anything else. In fact, with the ability to take raw images on your phone, and with the massive files that the phone is able to create, it's kind of surprising that we haven't been able to transfer files from the phone faster up until this point. Because if you have a lot of data stored on your iPhone, I mean, how are you supposed to transfer it to your Mac? Via Wi-Fi? I mean, first of all, Wi-Fi is not reliable. And second, it's not nearly as fast as having a wired connection. So this would be a massive...
Back up their iPhone
oh, sorry, what
way.
was that?
But I'm sure there's a lot of people who still back up their iPhone, like using a wired connection and sync their photos that way. Like, until last week, I had a pretty crummy internet connection at my new house as well. So that's what I was doing. I didn't want to, waste a bunch of limited Wi-Fi space doing that. So I think that'd be incredible if you could. I just did the math in my head. That would be like 5 seconds compared to 400 seconds transfer speed.
Rain Man over here, Lewis. Did it in his head?
How many seconds? 400 seconds. How many minutes is that? Do that in your head. Come on.
That'd be wait, what? I don't know. 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes.
Wait a second, he's right. Dang. Yeah, it's going to make a significant impact on being able to use your iPhone in storage situations where you want to just have a bunch of stuff on your phone. I mean, you might even be able to use your phone as just a secondary storage drive if it's able to transfer stuff that fast. I am surprised, though, Griffin, that you said that you're still backing up your phone with your Mac. Is that how you're doing it?
I was until just last week when I got a new internet service that is now letting me do the CultCast from home, which is also why I'm in this new setup here.
Yeah, should I go full screen for Griffin? You can see all the fancy...
Sure.
Look at all those monitors and everything. What's that one on your back left?
This one right here?
No, the
That
one further to the left. Yeah.
Oh, that's just a generic Dell monitor that I got. I don't have anything plugged into it, but I have an old Pentium 2 PC running Windows 2000 that I want to get up there. I'm thinking maybe I'll like have some of these computers going in the background with like
That'd be
screensavers, so
pretty
you got
cool,
some
actually.
motion going on
You should
back
get
there.
something going on there. It's a shame to have them just turned off when you could have some kind of like vintage background or like screensaver or something going on
And
there. That'd be pretty
behind
cool.
my head right now, I have an iBook G3,
God, look
the
at
old
that
clamshell
thing.
one.
How much do you charge for admission to the Central Ohio Vintage Computer Museum?
Admissions are free because only my friends know my precise address.
Yeah, and
I see.
he's only got 4 units there, Lewis. And I'm not sure you can charge tickets.
Oh, that's all you can see.
Look at Griffin. Look at Lewis trying to get your address, Griffin. Subtly, he's like, where'd you say you were again? I'll buy a ticket. I'll come down there and check out your collection. Caught a few typos I want to talk to you about. All right, well, let's see here. What else we got? Okay, I guess it's me on this second
What
story,
else
too.
do we got?
I completely
What
forgot
else
how we
do we
messed
got?
how we organized this. I know we had some more stuff. I was about to send it to you, Lewis. So more iPhone features. Now this is also an exciting one, IMO, because I just find that waiting to charge your iPhone is something that I'm doing a lot these days. Like I'll plug it in and it's just taking forever to charge, especially when I'm driving and trying to use maps at the same time. And sometimes you just need to top your phone up fast. Well, it looks like iPhone 15 could support faster 35-watt charging speed. Now, this is significantly faster than the iPhone 13 Pro that I have. I think mine tops out at 15 watts or something like that. And I think iPhone 14 is faster than that, although not as fast as this. I know that watts isn't a speed, Lewis, but it does indicate.
That's correct.
It does indicate how much time your phone might take to charge. So in any case, a report based on industry sources claim that the iPhone 15 will support peak charging speeds of 35 watts, which is crazy. I've been seeing portable chargers, car chargers on Amazon for with USB-C that charge at like 160 watts now from your car. I don't even think that my car ports or my is that an AC or a DC port? I forget. I think it's AC. I don't think that my car supports watts that high, but apparently some cars do. That's super high. Let's see here. While the 0 to 100% charging time is unlikely to see a significant reduction, the top-up time between 50 and 80% should see a decent drop. That's always the part that takes the longest on my phone. With a compatible power adapter, you can top up the iPhone 14 Pro at a peak speed of 27 watts. Oh, wow. So they did raise it a lot. They almost doubled it for the iPhone 14. However, this is only for a few minutes. As the battery level increases, the power drawn by the iPhone keeps reducing to increase the battery's longevity. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's interesting. Rumors indicate that Apple could limit the iPhone 15's faster charging speeds to MiFi certified USB-C cables and adapters. That would suck, obviously. The Pro models could also support Thunderbolt over USB-C. We obviously just talked about that. While the 2023 iPhone lineup could switch to USB-C, Thunderbolt functionality could be limited to Pro models. Well, obviously, that may not be the case. We're not sure yet, but it seems like it might be coming to all phone models. But another really useful, super practical feature for people who use their phones a lot. And the other thing, too, is it becomes more useful as your phone gets older, because as your phone gets older, you have less battery capacity. So you got to charge your phone more, which means you use that charging speed, that top-up feature even more often. Like for me, I was on vacation this week, and I was charging my phone 2 to 3 times a day because it was just draining so fast, and I was constantly having to wait for it to fully charge, and I could never get it fully charged because it only charges at 15 watts. So having this feature would be super useful. And let's hope that
disconnected as you're speaking right there. As you know, I think this was like a little reported story earlier this year that Apple's MagSafe is now becoming part of an open standard. It's going to, like, what Apple currently uses and calls MagSafe is going to become Qi 2, that Android devices and like any phone manufacturer will be able to implement. So that will no longer be a competitive differentiator for Apple. It could be that they're boosting or they could market it as another differentiator of an iPhone, and that they have these super high speed wired connections, which is one more thing over everybody else, because everybody will have like 15-watt MagSafe charging. But if you want super fast 35-watt wired charging on your iPhone, you got to get an iPhone.
Wait, so do you think that Android phones are going to have the ability to charge via that magnetic connection? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because that's now an open standard.
Why would
that's going to be
Apple
called
make that an
G2.
open standard? That makes no sense. That is so unlike them to do that.
I'm like
I wonder if they're making a
90% sure
royalty
that's
off
true.
every single one that gets made.
Maybe let me look if I can find this.
Right? I mean, and they're so hyper protective of MagSafe and that word MagSafe that's why you never see generic chargers that connect to your phone or connect to your Mac via MagSafe, because Apple has been, at least to my understanding, ultra protective of MagSafe. Like, that was a huge competitive advantage for them.
Yeah, I'll put this in the show notes really here. This is from a publication I've never heard of called Computer World. They say,
You never heard of Computer World? I feel like I have.
God forbid you use the cult of Mac link.
is that related
Come
to
on
Mac?
now.
Is that related to Mac World and PC World? Is that?
Yeah, I thought it
Anyway.
was like a PC World type publication.
Well, what is Qi 2? The WPC announced Qi 2 at CES 2023. The standard is based on Apple's MagSafe tech, which magnetically connects the device to the charger and both
Wow.
holds it in place for a strong charge connection. So I guess
It
I
was
should
kind
have.
of surprising. I remember reading this on Cult of Mac.
Well, all we got to do is go to the search feature on Cult of Mac and just type it in and poof, it's
Yeah,
right there,
that's
Lewis.
Such a great search feature. First Qi 2 devices are expected to hit the market by end of 2023. That's coming right up.
That's so bizarre. I can't believe that Apple, there has to be something in this for them. They would never just give this away, right?
Apple helped develop the standard.
I wonder what Apple's motivation is for doing this.
It is kind of weird. I agree, because it is such a great feature. And I mean, I always feel special when I use it. And, but it's supposedly more efficient, and it's a way of making it, making wireless charging more efficient and better for everybody. So, and I mean, who knows? Maybe Apple also uses this as a way to point like, hey, we're not all about proprietary standards. When the EU comes going, hey, you got to do this and you got to do that. I mean, this is at least one way where they're sort of sharing their technology, right?
Yeah, which is not something I ever expected them to do. So, yeah, I guess that MagSafe, I'm sure it won't be called MagSafe, is coming to Android
G2?
phones.
It's gonna
G2.
be called Qi 2.
Qi2, QI2.
So it's
Qi-
an awful lot like Cheeto.
Dude, I love Cheetos. I won't go on vacation.
Go
If
for
there's-
some right now.
If there's no Cheetos, I'm not going on vacation. I will not go.
I wouldn't boycott the vacation just for a lack of Cheetos. But
I mean, I would just
We had a
cancel the
really
whole thing.
smooth segue between these two stories planned, but now we're talking
Blew it
about
right up.
Cheetos. How we're going to bring it back around.
Speaking of Cheetos, let's hope that iPhone 15 batteries are better than iPhone 14 batteries. Lewis? Because
yeah, some
much
people are
like not having a
complaining.
Cheeto, hold on, let me get there. Much like not having a bag of Cheetos, that could be a disaster. Boom. That's how the pros
that
do it
was
there, Griffin.
That was this. Okay, got it. Yeah, some iPhone 14 Pro users are complaining about big drops in their battery health and capacity after, less than a year, right? These phones came out around a year ago, not quite, and people are already like posting screenshots of deteriorating battery capacity, 86 to 93% range, that's a pretty big cut considering it's only been out a year. Apple added this battery health feature. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but
I
added
use it all the time.
In 2018. You do?
Oh, dude, obsessively. Yeah,
You're not
because
supposed to stare at it.
Because my
That
phone
was
is
just
2 years
you'll
old,
go
so
blind.
I'm constantly checking it to see what my battery health is on my phone, and it just keeps dropping. It just keeps dropping. Although I think mine is soon going to be higher than yours is, Lewis, which is crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, well, yeah. So if you're not familiar with it, it gives you a real-time look at how well your battery's aging. Apple added it in 2018 after the Batterygate scandal. If you remember that. By the way, the checks are in
Checks
the
in
mail
the mail.
for Batterygate. Checks are in the mail. If you signed up, you should be getting a check for like, I don't know. It's actually fairly substantial, like $65 or something. I was kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be another like, oh, you get a check for $2.37. So
Yeah, how much
I
is the
hope you
law
sign
firm
up.
making though? That's what I
Oh
want
yeah,
to know.
way more, of course. But anyway, Apple says iPhone batteries are, quote, designed to retain up to 80% of original capacity at 500 complete charge cycles when operating under normal conditions. You know, what does that mean, right? Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, actually, 500 complete charge cycles. I charge my iPhone at least twice a day, right? I charge it overnight, probably not the smartest thing. I charge it sometime in the middle of the day, almost always, because by around this time in the afternoon, it's already down to like 60-50%. And I don't want to, go to the grocery store with an iPhone. It's a little bit of, for me personally, it's a little bit of fear of completely running out. You never know when it's going to be a power outage
Right.
or whatever. But it's all, I mean, I got to say, I also deal with it cavalierly. Like my battery life is not down to 89%. Same as almost as low as these people complaining.
So, dude, my battery. So I have an iPhone 13 Pro. I was waiting for you to drop that part. I'm at 87%, and my phone is a year older than yours. And for those of you that want to check how many cycles you have on your battery, you can use a tool called, is it Coconut Battery?
Yeah, Coconut Battery.
Coconut Battery. It's free. There are some paid features, but you certainly don't need to pay for it if you want to use it. And it will tell you the battery health of all your Apple devices, your Mac, your iPad. I think if you pay, and it's only $13, which is actually kind of worth it in my opinion. But if you pay for it, you can access your devices wirelessly because otherwise you got to plug them into your Mac. But so my iPhone has been recharged, I think 544 times, and I'm at 87%. So
My phone is a year older than yours still, and I'm at, I believe, 83%.
Wow.
Do you charge it wisely? I mean, I charge mine whenever I feel like it because I'm on the iPhone upgrade program. I'm traded in at the end of the year anyway.
So you don't care.
I mean, yeah, I'm a jerk about it, right? But do you guys do it really carefully? I mean, like, I only want to do this.
I am super anal about it. Like, I do not charge my phone at night ever because I don't trust Apple's optimized charging feature. In fact, I think it's total trash. Like, what they need to do is stop trying to do everything for you all the time and empower you to set your own charging cycles and set a schedule and say, I want my phone to be charged at X% by this time. I mean, how easy would it be for them to do that instead of trying to use their stupid algorithm to do it for you, which always gets it wrong, in my opinion. And if you don't wake up at the exact same time every single day, then it gets confused and it doesn't know what it wants, what it should do, and then it basically just doesn't work. So I only do it manually. So I will charge my phone at my desk in the middle of the day so I can control exactly. And then as soon as it's done charging, I unplug it because the thing that kills your battery is having it sit there at 100%. So as soon as it's done, you want to unplug it so it starts using its charge.
So you don't wake up in the morning with 100% charge on your phone?
No, never.
See,
and I really need to.
I don't think I could deal with that.
You're sitting at your desk all day. What does it matter?
That would make me very nervous, man. I don't like to not have a full charge on my phone when I wake up.
Lewis, you're literally at your desk all day, every day.
I don't care.
Sorry, Griffin, go ahead.
I feel like I just barely use my phone throughout the day. Like I'm sitting in front of a Mac. I don't know what I'd pick up my phone for. It's just a smaller, worse screen than my Mac.
I use it all the time during the day. I constantly use it for speaking, voice, in Slack mostly, right? Constant. I can't bear wearing out my wrists typing in Slack. It's just a pain in the ass. I'm sorry, did I say that?
So you use the dictation feature then?
Yeah, and it's still terrible. But
you have that on your Mac too,
people say that. I've tried that. Every time I've tried that, it's just I don't know.
It's worse than the iPhone. It's that bad.
Yeah, it seems not to work that well. I use it for that. I carry it with me throughout the day. If I go downstairs to make lunch, I use it to check Slack while I'm eating my lunch, because like inevitably somebody asks me a question as soon as I pick up the sandwich. I don't know if you guys have that too. remote sandwich monitoring, so that as soon as you pick up the sandwich, you get the text.
Oh
message.
yeah, that's one of the features I love most.
It's a
about my
great
phone,
feature.
remote
Yeah, it's in
sandwich
iOS
monitor.
17. Everyone.
Well, I'm
So
3 hours later than you and Leander, so I usually get messages about the article that I submitted right around the time where I'm having dinner.
dinner time. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's fantastic. This whole remote working thing is just beautiful. So one of the things that we should mention, I think we're all on iOS 17, right?
Yeah,
So there's a chance that that's playing into these bad battery life things, right? Because I mean, I know my phone, it definitely seems like it drains faster with iOS 17 beta. I'm sure that like those list of people on there were a bunch of geeks. It wasn't like just normal people. So I'm guessing a lot of them are on iOS 17, if not all. So that's at least one reason that might explain why this, panic over the iPhone battery. But I got to say, 89% after, what is it, 11 months? That's not exactly great.
that's pretty bad, man. I mean, you lost 11% in not even a year. I mean, that's essentially 12% by the end of the year, right? Oh no, you've had wait, so yeah. You've been losing 11 months. You've essentially lost 1% per month. That seems pretty bad for a phone that's. I mean, you can't even have, what, 400 charges on your phone at this point, and it's supposed to last until 500.
It is
But-
pretty
That's-
common for like lithium-ion batteries to lose like 7 to 8% of their capacity in the first year, like at the beginning.
Is it
But then
really?
the next 10% is supposed to take like years at a time. So like in the first year, it's reasonable for it to go down to like 92, but then it should take like another like year or 2 years or 3 years to get down to 82% life cycle. And then once you get it down to like 75%, like the phone is basically dead.
If you really wanted to, it only costs $100 to have Apple change the battery for you, which is really not that much money. Like if you're someone who hangs onto a phone for 3 years, I think it would be worth it after 2 years to actually do that. So when I was on this trip, I was we did a float down this river. So we tied a bunch of rafts together and we just floated down the river. It was really bright outside, and I was trying to take video of us floating down the river, especially because the last time I was there was a big black bear that went out into the middle of the water when everyone was floating and was just sitting there. And I was like, I want to document this in case we get eaten by a bear. And my phone screen, usually in the past when you're outdoors, it gets bright enough that you can see it. But this time it didn't do that. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm starting to hit performance degradation. So my phone tries to get bright, but it doesn't have the battery voltage or whatever to do that. And so I had a really hard time seeing my phone screen when I was outdoors because
It
my
does that in
battery
the
is.
heat too. Like
Oh, really?
I've had
So-
my phone screen dim in bright sunlight because it gets too hot if it tries to get that bright.
Interesting.
That oddly enough, that happened to me last weekend. I'm sitting outside waiting for pizza to arrive, and I couldn't see my phone at all. And I cranked up my the whatever it is, that little slider, and
Brightness.
Man,
is that
it
the
was-
word you're looking for?
the brightness slider. Yes, thank you. And it was all the way up, and it's still like impossible to see. And my wife has the exact same phone as me; she could see. So I wonder if that's another iOS 17 thing. Like she's not on the beta. I am. My phone doesn't work right. Hers does. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's interesting. It could. I didn't consider the heat to be an aspect that could be causing that because it also was very hot, and I kept getting notifications that day that my phone wasn't able to do certain things because it was so
Really?
hot. It was yeah. It was. It
Wow.
was. I mean, it was 105 degrees outside. But whenever it got too hot, I just dipped it into the river water, which is probably like 75 degrees, and just left it in there. For like 10
Liquid cooling? Are you kidding me?
liquid cooling. That's the way to do it, baby. Cooled it off, and then you pull it out, and it's like operating, almost as new. But it still wasn't getting as bright as it was, when I first got it, because you could very easily see it outside. I just gotta mention real fast. So we got Threat Level Midnight here in the chat, who just gave us a $27.99 super chat. Thanks
Whoa.
for that. Holy moly, that's the biggest one we've ever got. It is Canadian though. What's that worth in U.S. dollars?
You got
I think
Seven?
it's the Canadian.
$7?
I want to say it's like at 1.2%. I mean, 1.2x right
Holy
now.
moly! Thanks for that. That's a big old drop. $27.99 is really specific too. It's like, I don't want to give you 30. You're not worth that. But I feel like you're worth more than 20. I'm gonna
Maybe
crank
they
it to
typed in
27.
like $25 Canadian and then it became 27.99 US.
Oh, so it's a
Just a
typo,
theory.
maybe? Well, regardless, thank you for that huge amount of
says-
cash. Usually people have us answer a question or something when they do that. But
Oh, the
not this time.
question's coming.
Just wait. He's typing it. He's like, I got one for you. This is gonna end you guys. Yeah, thank you for that. That's cool. That's the biggest one we've gotten yet. We don't get a lot of super chats on this show because it's like we'll pretty much read your questions no matter what. Probably bad business on our part, right? Like
So
we don't give any
stupid.
motivation to give us
Who's
any money.
running this show?
We don't give any motivation. We should change the way things work around here. All right, where are we? I don't even know. Okay, look, before we continue, I do want to thank Squarespace for supporting this episode. You've heard me talk about Squarespace for years now. Years and years and years and years. And you've been dragging your knuckles, dragging your heels. You still haven't done it. But maybe you're ready to get your life in order. Maybe you want to have a money printing machine like I do at cultcloth.co. And the orders just keep coming in every single week. I do nothing. I do absolutely nothing. And the orders just keep coming in. And I have, in no small part, Squarespace to thank for this. Now, I'm a paying customer. They don't give it to me. I use it because it's just so easy to use. And you can sell digital products. You could sell physical products. You can create a membership website where people pay to be involved in your community. If you have a skill set, I keep searching for a skill set that I could teach. I can't think of one. But as soon as I come up with one, maybe I'll make it available so that people can book my calendar and pay me money to have me teach them something that will help them improve their lives. I'm coming up short right now on what that could be, and I've been coming up short for about 2 years.
iPhone river cooling methods.
There you go. That could be something, how to cool your iPhone in a river so that you can continue using it. It's specific enough that I might grab a few paying customers. for that.
Probably not a lot of competition.
That's true. That's also true. Not very many people would ever think that could make them any money, probably for good reason. But if you want to start a business, it's obviously the place to go. Maybe you just want to promote yourself to potential employers or have a presence online for your business that you could send people to. What I like about Squarespace is how incredibly easy it is to get going. I always say you can be up in mere moments. But if you want, you can dive into the design and customize absolutely everything, make the website look uniquely yours, and you can do it, without any skill. I mean, it's just drag and drop. You don't need to know how to code or anything. Everything is like super easy. Their tools are beautiful and easy to use, and all of this stuff is included with your Squarespace subscription. If you want to play around with it, if you never built a Squarespace website before, head to squarespace.com/cultcast. All you need to do is give them an email address and a password. You'll be up and running. And at the end of your 2-week trial, if you don't want to pay for it and continue, you can just leave it alone and move about your life. But if you like what you have and you want to continue and keep building your site and have it remain up, you can use code CultCast at checkout. You'll get 10% off your first purchase. And if you do a year of purchase, which is what I do, you get an additional discount and a free domain name at squarespace.com/cultcast. And then use offer code CultCast when you decide to make your purchase. So code CultCast at checkout to get your discount. Squarespace.com/CultCast. You could be the next CultCloth success story where the checks just keep rolling in. Thousands and thousands and thousands of orders now. So I do want to thank all of you for making. Some of you are making multiple purchases. Like there was this one guy, like he comes back like every 3 months. And he buys like a whole stack of them.
Wow.
I'm almost suspicious at this
He's a
point.
reseller.
I'm like, what do you do with those CultCloth? He's probably writing 9 to 5 Mac cloth. It's gonna be a lawsuit in order here. My high-powered legal team, all funded by CultCloth. I'm gonna have to get all 12 of them to write a cease and desist letter. They'll probably just use Notion or Notion AI to write it for them, and then charge me like $500. In any case, thanks to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Where are we going next? I have no clue.
Wow.
We already talked about.
I think we're going to be talking about a fantastic thing that might be coming next year.
Oh yeah, should we talk about the Watch X, Apple's secret new Apple Watch? And I think that we're long overdue for an updated Apple Watch. Wouldn't you say, Griffin?
Yes, I would. Although I'm going to be the first person to correct you It's Watch 10, not Watch X.
Oh,
Roman numerals, buddy.
I'll never say 10. You've heard it here first. I will always refer to it as Watch X, but please continue.
Apple Watch X with new design might arrive in 2024. In the latest edition of his Power On newsletter, Mark Gurman spills the beans on Apple Watch 10, possibly X. Jury's still out, but the prior evidence shows it'll be Apple Watch 10. He thinks the revamped smartwatch could launch in 2024 or 2025. It wouldn't make any sense if it was 2025 because then it would be the 11th. I don't know. It reportedly will feature a thinner watch casing. So everybody says that they want a redesigned Apple Watch. There was the rumor 2 years ago that they were going to have the square edges. I always thought that looked kind of dumb. I'm kind of glad they still have the rounded edges. But I will say, I'm surprised. In fact, I'm just amazed that we're this far into the watch and they haven't made the case substantially thinner yet.
Me too.
I've got it right here. It's a pretty chunky little plumpus little device there.
Yeah.
It's if ever there were a device where they could justify making it much thinner, it would be the watch, because a thinner watch is less likely to get banged up on a corner or a doorknob or get caught on something. If it's thinner, it'll be closer to your wrist, and you'll be able to pull a shirt sleeve over it easier. It'd be great if the watch were thinner. That's personally, I'm okay that it's square. I'm okay that it still has the rounded design. That's the look they're going for. It's kind of the thing that makes the watch iconic at this point. But there's no reason it has to be so dang thick. Anyways, Apple is also looking at a new watch band mechanism for the first time since the smartwatch launched. The existing system takes up a lot of space that could be better utilized by fitting in a bigger battery or other internal components. And this reminded me of a story I read on The Verge a while ago. I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness. Next, he's going to start talking about Alex E. Heath. This is unbelievable.
Tiny little hands.
Who's that?
Tiny hands
Heath.
Heath.
I don't know who that is. They ran the story, I think early June, I think, that the mechanism for their watch band system, where you just slide the band in and it has these little precise buttons. Apparently, they're extraordinarily complicated to manufacture. This is a quote from their article. A regular CNC machine, which is the kind of machine that it's like a reverse 3D printer. It's a specialized robot arm, and you give it a block of metal and then it carves it into a shape of metal. A regular CNC machine can cut down to plus or minus 50 microns.
Wow, that's wild.
As for the fancy schmancy Swiss CNC machines for cutting the Apple Watch band slot, the accuracy is plus or minus 5 microns. That's an order of magnitude more precise that they have to be, according to ex-Apple engineers. Even with that precision, this is a direct quote, the number of finished watch housings and bands they have thrown away because they didn't meet these exacting tolerances is an inordinate quantity. It's not a small number. So these things are hard to manufacture, and they continue. At the time, 2014, when they started manufacturing these things, the largest buyer of these machines was Rolex, and then Apple bought more than anyone had ever bought, including Rolex, up until that point. So Apple had to buy double the number of these special CNC machines up until 2014 just to start making the Apple Watch. So it does make sense why they would want to move on from that design.
Wow.
Anyways, back to Mark Gurman's story. Apple has seemingly researched using a magnetic band attachment. However, it is unclear whether it will be ready for Watch 10's launch. So instead of having the mechanical little, slide it in thing that the Apple Watch currently has, it could be attached magnetically, which I am very dubious about.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that makes me a little nervous, especially for an expensive watch.
Mm-hmm.
But if the magnets were really strong, I could see it working. And if it allowed them to drastically increase battery life, then I'm willing to give it a shot.
On the other hand, do you want a super strong magnet on your wrist?
Might have good health benefits.
Yeah. Don't they sell magnets that go on your wrist? It's supposed to.
They do. Yeah,
They sell that. What?
The Apple Watch is going to take care of aches and pains now too.
Yeah, it's gonna increase your virality as well.
Well,
I hear
Apple's
magnets
trying
help
to
with that.
expand their target demographic into the people who are easily fooled by such medical hocus pocus.
What do you mean? Those magnets that I've been wearing on my neck aren't actually helping my neck pain? I mean, my neck pain hasn't improved yet, but that's because I probably haven't been wearing them long enough. It's only been like a
can
year.
you imagine how much it would hurt if you hadn't been wearing them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I probably would have been a
It's
lot
terrifying.
worse. All they need to do now is build in the green crystals, and you'll be set. Don't tell me you don't know about the power of green crystals.
I'm
Liz.
not
Please
familiar.
don't tell me you haven't been using green crystals.
No, that explains a lot. All these
Oh,
aches and
my
pains.
goodness.
What did I?
Yeah, you just put you just have a green crystal suppository. Keep that in there for the
Oh.
day. And your health is going to be unlike anything that you've had in years. It's a little uncomfortable, but once you get used to it, you
Really
barely
sorry I heard about this.
barely even notice. I was going to say something else about the Apple Watch. Oh yeah, so
There's one last tidbit. Oh, sorry.
okay,
you can
no,
go
no,
ahead.
no. Just real quick, you were mentioning microns. So I was like, wait a second, like how thick is the human hair? So the human hair is approximately 70 microns, give or take 20, according to this website. Who knows if this is right? So that means if they're able to shave down metal at a 5 micron increment, that means they're able to shave down a human hair by like 10%. That's how thin that is. So they're breaking up a human hair into tenths, and that's how accurate they could be with their CNC machining. That is
nuts.
mind-blowing. Yeah, that is really, I mean, I wonder how they do that. Do they use lasers or something? Like, how else could you possibly do it besides lasers? It's got to be lasers. I mean, it can't be metal on metal.
I
I
don't
wish
know,
I
man.
wish
I mean,
I'll fly to the Foxconn plant they're manufacturing these things and take a look and answer that for you.
Yeah, give
Bunch
it a
of really-
shot. See if you can get in.
really skilled grandmas with putty knives. That's how they do it.
I doubt it's that.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, take it away,
Other
Greg.
rumored changes
Yeah.
include the switch to a micro LED display and blood pressure monitoring,
Yeah,
And
we-
more
I can't
details
wait till
beyond
they
that,
add
but
that.
allegedly.
When they add that, it's going to be a gigantic boom. So many people are going to buy them if they come up with a accurate blood pressure monitor.
I think it's never going to happen. I just don't think it's ever going to happen.
God, yeah.
think
I mean,
how
they've been
many,
talking
like-
about it for years.
Blood pressure monitors are on the market already that take the pressure on your wrist. And I always hear people say that blood pressure on your wrist is not accurate for biological reasons. So I just kind of wonder, like, oh, is this ever going to be something that ever actually happens? It seems like they're probably working on it, but even if they get it to work, it seems like it wouldn't be as accurate as having it on your arm. It'd still be cool. Like, I still think it would be helpful, but I don't know. It sounds like
It might be
vaporware
like
to me.
the blood oxygen sensor, or like it might go the way of the temperature sensor on the new ones, where they kind of shy away from saying that it actually
That's right.
does what you might think it would do,
Yeah, it's
For
going to come with a
medical
whole
use.
string of caveats, right? And
and it'll only work in the United States.
yeah,
It can't be bothered elsewhere.
and it's
Isn't
only in
that
the
weird?
Western United States. Yeah, between the hours of 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it would be cool. Adam Broussard. First of all, he paid me $1.99 to say this, so I had to say it. Yeah. There you go, Adam. Lewis, I don't want to hear nothing about it. And he's also saying that it doesn't even need to be accurate. People will still buy the mess out of it. Yeah, that's probably true. I have a blood pressure watch sent to me for testing on my channel, I Cave Dave. It's accurate versus the one on my arm, and my wife is a nurse. So the arm one was accurate. So wait a second. It's accurate versus the one on my arm. Interesting. So are you saying that the one on your wrist is just as accurate as the one that's on your arm? That would be pretty interesting if that's the way it works. So maybe they could get it to work. I don't know. I also hope it's not like are you ready for a blood pressure reading? And you're like, yes, Apple Watch. And he goes, brrrr, and it starts inflating.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Or something like that.
Yeah.
He says,
Yeah.
yeah, they matched. Well, that is interesting. I mean, certainly that's not conclusive proof The wristband did not inflate. Huh. Okay. I'll have to go check this out. So does it just use like electrodes or something, or some kind of visual instrumentation to measure your blood pressure? That would be pretty amazing if that actually worked and you didn't have to. I just think like, God, you have like millions of medical companies working on this, right? Because it would be something that would make them so much money if they patented it. And for Apple to solve it out of all, I don't know.
Apple has more money to burn.
I was
going to
say, do they have any money?
Oh wait, he said it. I'm sorry. So he said it did. The wristband did inflate. Okay, so it did inflate on his wrist. Air happened. The air has happened.
Imagine an Hermes version of that special band. So it inflates and you see this stupid horse face or something.
Some kind of like special sound effect. Yeah, like a horse neighing or something. Okay, where are we? I've completely lost where we are. Lewis, we're going to have to skip your Apple band story because we still have another story from Griffin here about Face ID for MacBook. So let's do that. And then I forgot to mention, and I should have teased this like an hour ago, is I have a very, very special unboxing that we're going to do here. Something sent to me by a listener. And Fieldy, if you're here, here it is, my friend. Here it is. I got it right here. I got it right here. What is inside this baggie perhaps is one of the most beautifully designed objects that exists on Earth today. I'll just tease you with that. So I'm going to open this up and reveal it. I've never seen one of these in person, but Fieldy wanted me to have this. He thought it would be a worthwhile thing to feature on the show. So when we're done here, I'm going to go ahead and unbox this and show you all this thing, which I think will be pretty cool. But we got this last story first. Griffin, let's talk about IDing your face. I want it to happen on the Mac. I really do.
Sure. This is from just earlier this week. Apple hasn't given up on Face ID for MacBooks. Apple just received a patent that covers building Face ID into a MacBook. Back in 2019, Apple filed for a patent on a, quote, light recognition module for determining a user of a computing device, which is a lawyery way of saying it's a computer that can identify your face. That's Face ID. That's kind of the whole thing. On Wednesday, it received approval for that patent. Apple's new patent covers a light pattern recognition module that is capable of emitting a predetermined pattern of light at the user and subsequently detecting a pattern of light that is reflected by the user for authenticating the user, which is another lawyerly way of describing how Face ID already works on the iPhone and iPad. So they have this patent for it, but we're all hoping the Face ID comes to the Mac, but I wrote a blog post a few years ago about some design problems with Face ID on the Mac. Although they have the patent for it, I'm kind of skeptical that it's going to come, at least anytime soon.
I can't believe this.
Because there are three identifiable problems that I think prevent Face ID from coming to the Mac today. Number one, if it works how it does on the iPhone, they say that the iPhone has a dot projector that projects over 30,000 dots on your face. Well, if you were to actually take dots as pixels, that's only a 160 by 200 resolution image, which is probably good. I mean, it's good enough to identify a face because you hold your phone 18 inches from your face, and that's pretty much the limit of Face ID. But I mean, I'm 2 feet away from my Mac right now. People have their MacBooks really far away. You're in all sorts of varieties of angles when you're looking at your MacBook. So I don't know if that kind of resolution is going to be good enough for Face ID to still be able to cleanly identify your face. Not least because it needs a much wider field of view, and therefore it'll have an even lower resolution depiction of your face. Number two, the display of a MacBook is 43% thinner than the thinnest Face ID device. So if you look at an iFixit teardown, the Face ID component, it pretty much takes up the whole thickness of the phone or the iPad Pro.
Really?
Yeah. And which is about a quarter of an inch thick. The lid of a MacBook display is 1/8 of an inch thick. And that's not including, and that's still including the layer of aluminum in the back and the layer of glass in the front. So a Face ID component would have to be somehow made like a third as thin to fit inside of a MacBook.
Okay, now I see the problem. And I guess I never really considered that because when you look at your phone, it doesn't look like that camera unit is that thick. You obviously only see the top part of it. And they're using the full thickness of the phone to include that component. So they'd have to do some kind of Frankenstein unit on the top of like the lid to have it protrude in some way. Well, if that's the case and they need to make it a third as thin as it is now, then I agree. Like we probably won't see this for years. I mean,
But
how
there's
are they
one
going
more
to shrink it
problem.
down?
Even if they can magically make a version of Face ID that is higher resolution and a fraction as thin, there's still a problem in that how you authenticate using Face ID. So like when your computer prompts you for Touch ID, it waits for your finger and then you press your finger on the key and that tells your computer, okay, I authenticate this. Whereas with Face ID, your face looks like your face whether you want it to or not. Like imagine, you're on a website and it says autofill with your password with Face ID. Well, your computer just like beams at your face and then like what happens next? There would have to be like some sort of special key that you can press to say, yes, I would like to activate with Face ID. Otherwise, like, your computer would just automatically do all these things for you without any middle. Does that make sense or I need to explain that better?
No.
Like
So go
looking
ahead,
like
Luke.
your face is a passive action. Pressing your finger on a special key on your keyboard is what tells your computer that you are ready for Touch ID to happen. But like Face ID happens automatically. So
You're saying that you would accidentally authenticate when you didn't mean to.
yeah.
Why would it work differently than on an iPhone?
I was just going to say, isn't that the same scenario that we're in for
Well,
iPhone?
On an iPhone, when you're using Apple Pay, you have to like double click the side button on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Like it scans your face and then to actually complete the transaction, you double click the side button. The side button is by no mistake a button that no developer has control over. There's no API to see what the side button is doing. So that can happen completely independently, separate from the app. And then like your phone manages that and then it just tells whatever app you're using, oh yeah, that's successful, go ahead. Whereas on a Mac, you would also need a special key that you press. And in that case, and if
Like
you
a
accept
Touch
that
ID
as true,
key.
yeah. So if you accept that as true, you would still need to push a special key on your computer to authenticate with Face ID. And then at that rate, it's not actually any different than if you just have Touch ID to begin with.
I don't know. I mean, you could make this work the same way it does on the phone, where there's different levels of access, right? So, like in some instances, it will just use your face; it doesn't need anything else. But if you're gonna make a payment or something, you gotta use your face and like double click the space bar or something, which would be no different than double clicking the power button on your phone. It's like it's a physical.
It can't just be the spacebar though, because developers have access to the spacebar. They could just mimic that keyboard input as soon as you authenticate.
So you're saying it'd have to be something that the developers can't access. What about the power button on your Mac? Double click that.
I mean, yeah, you
because
reach
they
over
can't
the
turn your
power
Mac
button.
off, right?
Turn it off.
No, they can't.
Yeah, of course. Then the Mac turns off instead of making the payment. I don't know. I just feel like there's some way around that. The bigger problem seems to me to be the technical issue where they can't shrink down the module and make it small enough. It's just weird that I have a Lenovo PC that I sometimes have to use, and Windows Hello uses the camera, like the built-in webcam, to unlock itself. I wonder how secure that is.
Oh, I'm sure
Not
it's
very.
fantastic.
You don't think so? You don't think you can just hold up like a little sign or like a paper plate with a face drawn on it? It would just automatically
Caricature of
unlock?
yourself.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like it would be pretty secure. Now, all it's doing is unlocking the PC. I don't think you can use it for anything else, or you can't use it to authenticate for websites or anything like that. But it is really nice. Anytime I open up the laptop, it's like, oh, hello, Airphone, and it just logs me right in. Like, that's pretty handy. Okay, look, we got to move on here because we're running low on time. Windows Hello can be fooled with a photo. iCave Dave says, I got to try that. That'd be pretty funny if that actually worked. And that would be pretty crazy if that actually worked. I mean, obviously with iPhone, Once you scan your face, you can access all of your passwords in the passwords or in the settings app in the password section. So if someone was able to spoof that, they would literally have every password that you've ever used that's stored in your phone. That would clearly be a big deal. Okay, look, this is great timing because we got Fieldy from jolly old England here who sent me this, and I've been meaning to show this to you all because this is pretty cool. I hold one of the great one of the great what am I trying to say here? Examples of industrial design here in my hands. Do you guys have any guesses what this might be? Don't say it. Just come up with the idea in your head.
I gotta guess.
And I'm gonna go ahead and open this right here because I've been wanting to open this, but I haven't done it yet. And for those of you who are listening, which is most of you, I will explain to you as I open this what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing. So I'm opening up the envelope. Oh my. So here we have not one. What am I doing here? Let me go ahead and switch camera angles. Here I have not one, but two Johnny Ive red noses. The red they were the red clown noses, right?
The clown nose.
Look at this. This is cool, man. Thank you, Fieldy.
Awesome.
I'm glad that you showed up for this because I wanted you to be here for this. So it looks like a retainer's case, like a little plastic case that you'd hold your retainer in. On the front, it has a red nose day sticker. And check out this band that you used to open it. Is that not classic Apple? It looks exactly like what you would see on an iPhone. I should have set up my my camera so that I could zoom in on this. Actually, maybe I can show this to you guys.
Oh, nice and blurry.
Here we go. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, there.
There it is. So check that out. See that little band, just like you would when you're opening your
very
iPhone.
Apple.
Isn't that hilarious?
What does it say on the edge?
It says this nose changes lives.
Okay.
There you go. Is it working?
Pretty
There you
good.
go. Okay. Very beautiful packaging, as you would expect. Now, I have to admit, that's right. These were produced for that comic relief thing. And what were the funds going towards? Do you guys remember? I hate to say that I forgot, but I don't remember what it was.
Some kind of charity.
Let's build a
That's
healthy future for all children.
Children. That's right.
Children.
We've raised over $324 million to end child poverty, impacting the lives of over 32 million children. Red
Right.
Nose Day.
It's all sorts of charities. Okay, very cool. iCave Dave said he's wearing one as we speak. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep one of these closed, I think. It's going to be a collective item for me. I'll go ahead and tear this sticker off. It just peels right off the edge, just like that. There we go. Oh, it didn't come off cleanly. Johnny Ive, what's going on with this? You guys can't tell, but there's like a residual paper here on the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and open this just like this. Here we go. And there inside is like the beautifully folded red nose. There's a little note inside. It says scan for a surprise, and there's a QR code. So do you guys want to, I'll hold this up to the screen.
Your bank account has been drained.
Surprise!
Surprise! You have just paid us $400 because you don't have access to the power button. So
Thank you for your donation.
here's the nose right here. Okay. It says Red Nose Day on the front of it, and
The
I think
red
probably
plastic.
comic relief. And let me see if I can open this thing. So you pull it open just like this, I think. Oh! Did you see that?
It did that,
That
all by
was
itself.
Sprang to life.
That was cool. So when you're pulling it to open it, it springs open and completely unfurls. And there you go.
Perfect.
This is
You
the
better
way
go
you've
full
all
screen for that
always.
if you're not already, man.
This is the way you've all always imagined me, isn't it?
I like the way it sounds too.
Dude, this thing fits great. I can't believe how it really
Get it on.
Ah! All of a sudden, there's like an ambulance here. There's like medics coming in here to get me. It really grabs onto the schnoz. I'll just say that. It's got a firm grip on my schnoz. There you go.
Definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, it is. I would say I look better, don't I?
We
Oh,
should use that in the YouTube thumbnails going forward.
we probably should get some. We got to get a couple of these for you guys as well. Man, this thing is fantastic. I have to say, this is the most beautiful clown nose I've ever encountered. Fits great. It looks great. Look how vibrant it is. Hi, everybody.
Very nice.
Oh, man, Fieldy, I really just can't thank you enough for sending this to me. This is truly special. I gave Dave says he has a few spares. Would you be willing to send one of those to Griffin and to Lewis? I gave Dave. Does make me sound a little nasal, doesn't it? I'm gonna show this to my kids too. They're gonna love this. It is like a very much disposable, recyclable packaging. Yeah. I thought this part was plastic. I actually think that this is paper. Yeah, it is paper. You can kind of hear it crinkling. All right. Well, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. You just can't get a better ending than this. But if you have some clown nose to spare and you want to send us one, well, you could get a hold of me. I'm on Twitter at Airfun, ERFON. Lewis would also love one, I'm sure. He is at Lewis Wallace. And D. Griffin Jones is there, lurking. He may not reply to you unless you offer to send him a clown nose, in which case I bet you he would reply to you in the DMs. I'm not sure. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. Like I said, the party always continues on Twitter if you want to hang out with us there. And, of course, new episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, for hanging out live. We will see you guys. I keep banging it on the mic if you guys see. I keep accidentally. I'm not used to having my nose be this big and around. We'll see you guys. Oh, I hit it again. Whoops. Next time. Oh man, I love this thing. Although I'll be honest, I don't know if I could wear this for more than 30 minutes or so. My schnoz is starting to get schnoz fatigue. So how do I close it now? How do we do that? Oh! See that? God, sprung close. That's crazy,
the
man.
Opening and closing mechanism is not clear how it works, but
this is probably the
amazing.
only Love
trap.
From product that I'll ever own. This is the only one that's affordable.
Johnny Ive designed at its best.
Johnny Ive Love From. How cool is that? All right, everyone. Have a great weekend. We will see you guys. We'll see you guys next time.
in a week or two.
Said that again.
What?
You won't see us next time, but you'll hear us next time.
That's right. Hear you guys next time.